Am I the a-hole for making my daughter cry at a restaurant? Am I the a-hole for cursing out my husband after finding out he lied about our son's illness? Would I be the a-hole if I don't change my son's name even though it may cause him to lose an inheritance? This dude kind of sounds like he gaslights. Like he's almost trying to gaslight the actual Reddit thread. Death by sidewalk is kind of crazy. And at his bachelor party, bro. They clearly didn't read into it. They're like, you're starving a 12-year-old. Am I the a-hole for making my daughter cry at a restaurant? My female 45, daughter 12, decided 12 weeks ago she wanted to be vegetarian. I would support and encourage her if that's what she wanted. The past 2 weeks, she's been looking down on the rest of the family with snooty comments like, you know that will just sit in your colon, right? And it doesn't make you the murderer, but it definitely makes you the accomplice. Her brother 7 is getting sick of it, and so am I. Especially when I just got home from work and I just want to relax and enjoy my meal. 3 days ago was my son's birthday, and we decided to take him out to his favorite restaurant. This place had vegetarian options, so I was not worried about my daughter being upset about that. I asked her if she wanted to go, and she excitedly said yes. We get there, and when the waiter takes our order, my daughter decided she wanted a mushroom burger. I said, whoa, I thought you wanted to go vegetarian. She says, I'm taking a break since it's a special occasion. I told the waiter to cancel that order and give us a few minutes. I looked at her and said, look here, Missy, you have been nothing but a jerk these last few days with your passive-aggressive comments since going vegan, vegetarian, whatever. You either commit to it now, or you get nothing at all. She doesn't even look at me. She just flops her head on the table and starts crying the moment I start talking. My husband does nothing but says, way to go. She doesn't move her head the entire dinner, even when I ask if we need to talk outside. Go to the bathroom to collect herself, nothing. We get home and she just goes to her room. My husband thinks I'm the a-hole because I had to ruin a night out. Should I go to the edits? All right, let's just read the edits and then we can keep going. So my husband and I told her to knock it off with the comments before this happened. At first, it was random cons about eating meat. I told her I'm aware, but that is my choice. Then came the rude remarks like, so you're gonna take 2 years off your lifespan like that? When I chose to reheat meatloaf for dinner instead of a pizza. At that point, I told her that she does not get to make rude comments about people's lifestyle choices like that, and if she says something rude like that again, I'm taking away her phone. Of course, she cried and ran to her room. She stopped saying things to me and her dad, but then she would start picking on her brother when we were out of earshot and would deny it when he would tell us. Apparently, she's been telling her brother that he's a loser for eating meat, and so are his friends. Wow, to a 7-year-old? That's crazy. Well, I guess I was pretty mean to my siblings too, so like, it's a kid thing, I guess. After doing this twice, I took her phone away and told her to apologize to her brother, and if she wants to educate people on vegetarianism, that's fine, but she needs to stop being a bully about it. Again, she breaks down and just runs to her room. I'm not even yelling at her. This is how she tries to deflect accountability. I tried to talk to her an hour later about it, but she flailed onto her bed and started bawling. I told her she needed to calm down and have a conversation with me about what's going on. She just screamed no, so I left before I lost my cool. At this point, I am really considering therapy for us. When I said mushroom burger, I mean a hamburger with sauteed mushrooms on top with melted cheese. It's definitely not a portobello patty. Here's the thing, I think the kid needs to hear this. I'm not a huge fan of people who like, if you want to believe in something, if you want to do something, that's fine. But the second you start using it as like a tool to make people feel bad, then it's wrong. Christianity, if you're a Christian, that's fine. Cool. You do you. I'm an atheist. I could care less. If you start saying stuff to me about God and how I need to save myself and how God blah, 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 I'm gonna rip you for it. Like at no point should you tell people how to live their life unless they're harming other human beings like this girl is. A little part of me doesn't like that she did this in public in front of her other family members, but also after reading the edit, it sounds like she's tried to address this issue in other areas and it hasn't worked. I kind of agree with the mom where if she's gonna tell other people that they're living their life wrong and then cheat on her own lifestyle, I've met plenty of Christians who do not do Christian things. They just go to church every single Sunday, but then they're awful human beings. This is kind of the same thing. I'm gonna take a bold stance. You know what? My heart is leaning towards not the A. It sounds like the mom tried to do it in a private setting, and this was kind of like the icing on the cake. I think this is gonna be a learning moment. Like the fact that she had this reaction, let's see what other people have to say. Everyone sucks here. Your daughter was being rude, but you are focusing on the wrong issue. The issue is not that she's going back and forth about her dietary choices. The issue is that she's actively being rude to her brother and you. Why don't you address her comments the first time she said something and give her an appropriate consequence? Okay, but it sounds like she did. I think this person probably posted this before this person made the edit. I don't know. I do have to say, like, just like we should call out, hey, yo, you're saying you're Christian and religious Jesus and treat everybody the way you want to be treated, and then they are an awful person. Like, someone should call them out on that. But the hard part is it's a 12-year-old and it's your daughter who you're supposed to be like guiding through this. You're the a-hole. Demanding an instant commitment is ridiculous. Even adults have to explore their options in various ways as they consider committing to a lifestyle change. Yes, but if she's being this annoying about it, I can understand how she would want to call her out. She's 12. Starving her to punish her being rude isn't productive, but it could lead to an eating disorder. She's not starving her. She's She said, just order something vegetarian. Big stupid. I don't like this comment because they clearly didn't read into it. They're like, you're starving a 12-year-old. No, she's teaching that 12-year-old that if you're going to commit to something and like double down on it, then I would much rather have a lesson taught to a kid that's like, if this is how you want to be, you can't be half-ass about it. If I was told to commit to every conviction I had when I was 12, I would be a vegetarian, ballerina, astronaut, playboy bunny. You're the a-hole. She might have been okay, I guess that's fair. I don't know. If I have like a 12-year-old, I would probably do the same thing. I don't know though. Maybe I'm just a mean person. Am I the a-hole for not letting my son's boyfriend come on vacation with us unless he pays his own way, even though I'm paying for everybody else? For summer vacation this year, I went all out. I rented a houseboat for 5 days. It cost about $22,000. We are celebrating my wife's 50th birthday and our 30th anniversary. It is a huge houseboat, and we have been planning this for a while. All the kids are coming and bringing their significant others and family. I'm flying my son and his wife over from the Philippines for this. My youngest son attends university on the East Coast, and he has a new person in his life every few weeks. He is staying out there for the summer, but I am also flying him in for the party. He wants me to pay for his new boyfriend to come. This is news to me because when he last spoke to me in July, he had a girlfriend. He changes partners more often than he does laundry. I said his boyfriend was more than welcome to come join us, but that he would have to pay for his own flight. The girl he was dating wasn't going to come out because she felt awkward being at a family party after only dating for a month, so I wasn't going to buy her a ticket. My son says that I'm being homophobic and an a-hole for not bringing his boyfriend out. I pointed out that his sister and her wife of 2 years would be there. He hung up and called his mom. She thinks I should just pay. I probably will to keep the peace, but I think it is stupid to pay for a vacation for a kid I will never see again, and he is going to be in family pictures forever. Wow, this sounds like that episode of How I Met Your Mother. There was like an episode where Ted wanted his girlfriend to be in there, and he's like, she's the one, and then they go through like all of the girls that he said she's the one about and have made it in their photos. If he's not a part of the family and he's not a long-term boyfriend, I think he has the right to say no. No matter what, they really can't tell him how to spend his own money. I'm gonna go with not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. This has nothing to do with him being a guy. It's about him only being with this person for a month. Who in their right mind would expect a person to pay for a vacation for a complete stranger? Yeah, kind of a crappy thing for the son to do, to like call him homophobic just because he won't pay for. That's something I see a lot with Gen Z, is they'll like call out the older generation like, you're being homophobic, almost like use it as a weapon sometimes. Not a huge fan of that. Not saying there aren't homophobic people out there, but this is an example of one of those. Would I be the a-hole for telling my half-sister's new family that she kind of assumed my identity? I, female 25, have a half-sister, female 24, called Hannah. I suppose from our ages, the circumstances of her birth are very obvious, and because of this, the subsequent drama. She was never in my life growing up. I would say I've met her less than 10 times in my life. When she was 16, she started consistently reaching out to me via social media, but I was never interested. This stopped when we were about 20. Since then, I mostly forgot about her existence until she reached out to me again at the start of this year, saying she'd got engaged. She wanted me to come to her engagement party and help her get in contact with the rest of my dad's side of the family. I told her I wasn't interested, but I did ask the rest of the family, granddad, aunts, cousins, if they wanted me to put them in touch with her, and they said no. So I told her that too. About a week later, I got a message on social media from her fiance, digging me out for how I treated her. He told me he understood that it was tough being the product of an affair, and he gets that I would be jealous of her since I was shunned by the family, but that she felt terrible about it and had always wanted a relationship with me. I was as confused as I was angry because he had the entire story arse backwards. I forwarded the messages to Hannah with a question mark, and she admitted that her fiance and his whole family didn't know that she is the affair baby, that they think she stayed in contact with my dad's family, that she went to the schools and university and basically lived the life I did. I didn't blast her for the lies. I just told her that if I ever heard from any of the people in her life again, I would tell them the truth. A few days ago, I received more messages from the fiance's sister, calling me a heartless witch for refusing Hannah's attempts at contact. The sister said I needed to get over my jealousy of Hannah. The fiance called me a spiteful witch for emotionally blackmailing Hannah's dad into not going to the wedding. It took everything in me not to reply and read the lot of them to filth. So now I'm contemplating whether I would be the a-hole for messaging them back with the truth. It can't go on like this. I told Hannah to handle her business and she didn't. Also, her lies are pretty creepy. She's marrying a guy who has no idea who she is. Then again, it's not like she sent these people after me, so maybe I would be the a-hole for tearing apart her whole life over something that isn't technically her fault. I think you can do the right thing, but the right thing is to be an a-hole. It is not okay for the half-sister to be marrying someone soon and they don't actually know about her life, that like basically her whole life is a lie, the right thing for her to do is to tell the people like, hey, I've been lying to you. This is how it is. I was embarrassed about it, right? I think OP should tell them because they have the right to know, but it would be kind of an a-hole move because it's not necessarily her place. She should go whatever way she's most comfortable with. Like if she's comfortable being the bad guy and revealing that information. Like I'm just thinking if I were in the fiance's shoes, I'd at least want to know, not saying that it would decide whether or not I'd actually still want to be with them, but like I'd want to know my partner's actual backstory rather than getting married to the person and then learning the backstory, because there's no way they can keep it up this long. Like they're gonna start asking questions. I'm gonna go with you would be the a-hole, but it's the right thing to do. Curious to see what all the other people's have to say. Okay, we got a not the a-hole. Tell them the truth and block them all. You're not tearing her life apart. She is. It is technically her fault that she lied to everyone. She not only lied, but she outed you. And after having some family harass you, she still didn't tell them the truth and let more family harass you. She is perpetrating the lies even knowing you know she's lying, and she's adding more lies. She's now making them think things are your fault. Write up a message that's the truth, simple and honest, and then block anyone who contacts you from her side of the family. I don't know, I guess are we saying that it's not an a-hole thing to ruin someone's relationship? It's all about perspective, right? From the sister's perspective, you would be an a-hole, but from the fiance's perspective, you would person bearing the truth, which wouldn't really be the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for eating my 32 male girlfriend's 36 female leftover food after a long day? I returned home very hungry after a long stressful day at work. I ate some of the leftover food which my girlfriend ordered. She was so angry that I ate it and thinks I don't care or think about her. She thinks I stole her $50 food. I spend around $1,000 to $1,500 every month on taking her to restaurants and takeouts. We were just back from the $6,000 South American trip paid completely by me. All right, this right here, I could have maybe made an argument for homeboy not being an a-hole, but this right here makes me think that he is very like, I pay for everything, so I have all the power, and that is wrong. Like, just because you pay for stuff in a relationship doesn't mean you have all the power. Maybe you could be like, hey, like I kind of help pay for this. I'm really hungry. This would be nice comfort food for me. And hey, if you really have this much money, just go buy more food for yourself. She is the one who mentioned money first. I did not mention money I spend in my argument with her. Ugh, I doubt that. Edit 2, I come from a culture where sharing food is love. She's from a different culture. Update, I told her to not bring up money and it's petty. I explained that it is triggering to me because she cares more about one-off leftover $50 meal than caring about me. I also offered her that I will order lunch for next day. We both apologized and are good now. Out of that conversation, you got that she cares more about the $50 food than you. Am I reading that right, guys? Is that what you're picking up? Are you picking up what I'm putting down on this? Because that is stupid. This dude kind of sounds like he gaslights. Like he's almost trying to gaslight the actual Reddit thread. I mean, I think it's stupid and petty, like it's just food, but we've all been there. Sometimes I'll eat my siblings' leftovers. I'm gonna go with you're the a-hole just because I don't like his overall vibe. I can't wait to hear what other people are saying. You're the a-hole. You chose to spend that money on her. She was clearly looking forward to her leftovers. That's a big difference. I also think you're trying to sway people by saying you pay for expensive things for her, and I wouldn't be surprised if you do the same thing with your girlfriend. That's a really manipulative thing to do, both to people reading your posts and your girlfriend. I told you, he was trying to manipulate all of us. This is how I imagine he said it. It's just really triggering for me that you care more about $50 food than me, and that's your fault. You should feel bad for that. That is so crazy. Am I the a-hole for putting a lock on my dresser drawer to keep my girlfriend from taking my clothes? We're both in our late 20s. Recently, my girlfriend has taken to wearing my boxers and underwear, not shirts and shorts or stuff like that, just my underwear. She says they're comfy and likes how they feel. I bought her some of the kinds I always get, but she won't wear those ones. She wants mine for whatever reason. She probably likes how they smell, or maybe she's into that. Bro, that just sounds like a win. I don't know why you're complaining. It was cute when it first started, but she changes clothes twice a day, so that's 3 pairs of underoos coming out of my drawer daily. I've asked her to stop. She won't stop and thinks I'm getting upset over nothing because, as she states, none of her previous relationships had a problem with her taking their clothes. I put a lock on my underwear drawer. It's just a safety lock, but I won't tell her how to open it, and she got frustrated when she couldn't get it open. Apparently, she told her best friend about it because when I got home last night, her friend commented that only an ass would do something like that. I get what they're saying about it being clothes, but I think it's a pretty simple ask to not do it daily because that adds up quickly. The 3 pairs a day seems to be causing some confusion. She wears 2 pairs, wear to work, and another pair she puts on after she gets home from work and showers, and then take a pair to wear for the day. There are 3 reasons I don't like sharing my underwear. 1, I don't just like sharing underwear, it's gross to me and a hard no. Bro, this is definitely a dude who doesn't eat box. For sure. Homeboy is scared of that thing. She's been told this every time I bring the topic up. 2, her wearing them stretches it out and puts extra wear and tear in addition to what constant washing does. 3, not to be gross or judgy, but vagines have all kinds of discharge and I don't want stained undies. I guess I'm not a picky person. Like, I don't care about discharge or if a girl's vagine has been where my balls are gonna be. Like, hey, newsflash, man, unless you and your girlfriend are doing something very wrong, that's probably already happening. Like, dude, who cares? Grow a pair. Or maybe your girlfriend has them in her underwear with her. I don't know. Why the heck do you need to wear your man's underwear and changes so often? That's actually annoying. It's also a waste of laundry detergent. Yeah, I just think it's cute, but the extra washing / laundry would be annoying. If they've expressed the frustration and the GF isn't listening, then that's different. I don't know, man. I feel like I have to go with the you're the a-hole. I don't think it matters, bro. Like, if this is like the person you are gonna live with and like you love, like, let them wear your underwear. Not the a-hole. May I suggest an alternative that you may or may not like? If she keeps at it, just start wearing 3 pairs of hers daily, and when she offers to buy you your own in the same style, tell her you want hers. Take the cute ones, the granny panties, take them all. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Fight fire with fire. Why not? OP's life might be changed when he realizes how well ladies' undies compliment his ass. If you need to lock up your clothes because your girlfriend refused your simple request to stop wearing them, you don't need a lock, you need a new girlfriend. Okay, underwear, who cares, bro? Like, there's a lot worse things she could be doing. Like, it's kind of hot. That's like when a girl wears your shirt, like she's like wearing the flag. You're like, yeah, like that's my girl. She's got the shirt that smells like me. If she's wearing this underwear everywhere she goes, like, that's you, dog. You did that. I don't know. Maybe that's, I don't know. Maybe that's stupid to like think of it like that. Not the a-hole. This isn't really about clothes. You made a reasonable compromise in buying her more underwear to supplement what she takes from your stash, but it would have been helpful to also discuss why she feels it is so crucial to wear your specific underwear. Does she feel closer to you? Does it make her feel naughty? Is it a control issue? If she'd actually be willing to discuss it and a possible compromise, like 1 pair per day, you would not have to secure your belongings. Not only was she dismissive of your feelings on the issue, but she doubled down by saying it's a non-issue because her past boyfriends didn't mind her behavior. Then, when you locked your belongings, she tells a friend who calls you a jerk. Why do her exes and friends have more sway in this relationship than you? Reddit really kind of be free therapy. That's pretty convincing. If you guys are going to battle over underwear, I can't imagine how you will troubleshoot larger issues. It's also a huge turnoff if a partner justifies trampling over your boundaries by saying, you can't have that boundary because my exes didn't. What else does she have to reference other than her past boyfriends? Let's say it's makes her feel naughty, like it's a turn on for her that she's grown accustomed to in past relationships. Then I kind of understand why she would bring it up. Like, that's her only frame of reference, right? She's basically developed a habit. So like, now that the habit that she's used to in a relationship isn't being accepted, I could understand how she would be like, well, like, nobody else cared, so like, is there something wrong with you that you do care? I don't know. I don't think bringing up exes is a bad thing. Why do her friends have more sway in this relationship? Friends always have a say in the situation. Girls that I've dated, like, something will happen and the first thing they do is they go tell their gal friend. Like, that's just how it works. Like, I don't think that's toxic or anything like that. I do think like the girlfriend needs to be willing to compromise if like, hey, this actually bothers you. There has to be a compromise here. Let's go with everyone sucks here. Your girlfriend needs to be more accommodating to how you feel and your boundaries. Am I the a-hole for cursing out my husband after finding out he lied about our son's illness? My husband, 23 male, and I, 21 female, have been together for 6 years. We have a baby boy together, and just last week we brought him to the hospital for failure to thrive. They didn't find anything wrong, but after 5 days and being placed on a higher calorie formula and noticing weight gain, he was discharged. Just an hour ago, I went to the store right up the street from us. This particular store just opened. When my husband and I first went in, I noticed the woman that ran the store was being very flirtatious with my husband, giving him the eyes, laughing at literally everything he said, staring at him. I kept it to myself though, because I didn't want to seem jealous and insecure. My husband has been going to that store about 3 times a week, whether it's for quick snacks or a beer. It always takes him longer than it should, but I never brought it up because I didn't want to make a fuss. So when I walked in that store, that same woman poked her head up from behind the counter and gave me the most empathetic look I've ever seen. She asked me, oh my goodness, hi, how's your baby boy? I walked over to her smiling, about to tell her about the weight gain and why he was there, when she then told me that my husband was up there a few days ago, we were in the hospital at this time, saying that her son had a hole in his heart. Not knowing what to do, I went along with it to avoid telling her that my husband is a damn liar. I was stuttering, thinking, why would he lie about something so serious? Wondering wondering how that conversation even started. I paid for my items and left. Was he trying to get sympathy from this woman? I called my husband's phone as soon as I got home and let him have it. He said I'm being unreasonable and it wasn't like that. Interesting. I'm gonna go with not the a-hole because that's suspicious. The issue is that he told her that so that she would feel bad and maybe want to sleep with him. Oh, vulnerable man. He's so sad. Maybe I should cheer him up with this pussy because that's how men think. It's so dumb, but that is how dudes think. So that's why she's chewing her out. Let's dive into this update. So first update, we are currently arguing over text. He's at work now and gets off tonight, so I'll update you guys when he gets home and what lies he tries to spin. He keeps saying she misunderstood my words. This woman doesn't know anything about me. She has no reason to lie. He's pissing me off. I'm thinking about leaving. This is not just him flirting with a woman or him liking Instagram pictures. You lied about our son's health to get sympathy. I think I'm done. I want to separate. Update 2. So the dick is home and we finally argued. I know when my husband is lying. His eyes dart back and forth a lot, and that's exactly what he's doing along with shaky breathing. He kept trying to lie to me and tell me that's not what he said. Claiming he said, I said he has a hole in his heart because I have a hole in mine because he's in the hospital. What? That doesn't... So he went up to her and he was like, yeah, my son has a hole in his heart because I have a hole in my heart because he's in the hospital. What? I'm not saying he should have lied. If I were in this situation, if I were a crappy person, I said they might think he has a hole in his heart. She must have not heard me say think. Lord, I wanted to smack him. I just stared at him and walked off. I came back and told him, if you don't tell me the truth right now, I'm leaving, getting a divorce, and I'm taking our kids. He started to cry and beg me not to. Then he finally told the truth. He told me exactly what the woman told me. I just shook my head and told him to get out. He's packed his stuff right now and gone to his dad's house. I'm gonna take some time away from my husband until I figure out what I want, but right now I'm considering getting a divorce. That's why, children, you don't get married young and you don't have a kid at the age of, wow, 17 and 15. Boop, boop. That's the sound of the police. Would I be the a-hole if I don't change my son's name, even though it may cause him to lose an inheritance? I, 24, got pregnant while I was taking a gap year traveling. I met an older guy, nothing gross. I was 19 and he was 23. I was working in a bar to make money while I explored his city. When I got pregnant, he lost interest really quickly. I understood, but I am pro-choice and I chose not to terminate. I went home and had my son. I also made sure to get child support. He could afford it. He did fight it though. I had to prove paternity and everything. Through that, his parents found out. They are well off. They have met my son and they truly do seem to love him. They have provided gifts for his birthday and Christmas. They helped me with extra money so I could complete my university without going into debt. They have taken us on vacation with them so they could spend time with him. They aren't my biggest fans, but we are cordial to each other. 3 months ago, my son's father passed away. He got drunk at his bachelor party, tripped on the sidewalk, and hit his head. And that was all she wrote. Death by sidewalk is kind of crazy. And at his bachelor party, bro. My son and I attended the funeral. We spent a week in that city so his grandparents could see him. They approached me with an offer. They had no other children or grandchildren. Their son was only 28, so he had lots of time to provide them legitimate kids. They did not say this, I'm just assuming. So they never thought about my son's name. They said that if I changed his surname to theirs legally, they would make him their primary heir. I think this is dumb. He is their only grandchild, and they would deny him an inheritance because of his last name. I said I would consider it to be polite and have left it at that. I actually have a pretty good life as it is. My family has been very supportive, and because of the whole court thing, my son's father had to have life insurance with him as a beneficiary. Would it be nice for my kid to get a big sum of money? Yes. Do I want him to have the surname of a man who didn't want him, see him, or love him? No. I have been talking to my family about it, and a few of them think I am being an a-hole for giving up this kind of money for my son. It is generational wealth, and I'm making the decision based on emotion. I think they are a-holes for thinking money is the only thing that matters. I think I will tell my son's grandparents that they can talk to him about it when he is 16. He will be old enough to understand the implications, but young enough not to be tied professionally to his last name. I don't like that the grandparents are like using it as a weapon though. I think I'm gonna go with not the a-hole because in my head, I was like, maybe I could go with everyone sucks here. But then I was like, the grandparents suck way more than OP. This line right here, would it be nice for my kid to have a big sum of money? Yes. Do I want him to have a surname of a man who didn't want him, see him, or love him? No. I think it's her choice. I guess the grandparents are just trying to cling on to the connection of their son. You can have the connection without the surname. I just don't understand like why they're pulling that card. So like manipulative. You're the a-hole. F that dude, but also you're kind of screwing your kid by not changing the name. That money is your child's future, and guess what? They'll probably want it regardless of y'all's beef. If they find out, that could also wreck y'all's relationship. Get the bag. You can be honoring the grandparents that have been involved in your son's life, and ultimately your kid can change the name if they don't like it, but the money can allow your child to pursue their dreams without having to worry about the stress of loans, etc. That's a good point. Like, this is what I was thinking of, is like having that amount of money never hurts. So I see where this person's coming from. I also don't think it's fair to call OP the a-hole though. I mean, mean, personally, if someone had told my mom I could get generational wealth as long as she named me dumbass hoe, and my mom didn't and I found out, I would be mad that my mom didn't rename me LOL. Those are good points. Not the a-hole. They are the a-hole for tying money to the name. If they want him to have it, they should give it to them regardless of the last name. You know, I'm curious what other strings that money will have. That's actually a very good point. Am I the a-hole for telling my 19-year-old daughter that she'll pay the plumbing bill if required for continuing to flush her tampons in our house? My 54 male, daughter, 19 female, is living with me this summer before heading to college later this month. She spent the majority of her middle and high school years at her mom's due to divorce custody arrangements. My daughter had knee surgery at the end of July to fix a torn ACL. As a result, I've been with her a lot, helping her recover. Last week, I noticed in the hallway bathroom that she uses that there were tampon covers and wraps. The next time I checked on her, I asked her to confirm that she was throwing her tampons away and not flushing them. She said no, they get flushed down the toilet. She said I should be kind of embarrassed that I have a 19-year-old daughter and don't even realize that. I told her no, they don't. I reminded her of all the doctor's office and hospital bathrooms where reminder notes are left asking women not to flush their feminine hygiene products. At the same time as I said that, she finished looking on her phone and I could tell she found information online that confirmed the garbage is the correct disposal method. I asked her to please use the garbage from now on. Later that night, I sent her 2 different internet searches confirming not to put tampons down the toilet and instead put them in the garbage. Several days later, when I was checking on her, I asked her if she was using the garbage for her tampons. She said no. I reminded her what we talked about and what I had asked her to do. She said I didn't understand since I was a man. I told her yes, I am a man, and yes, I don't understand. However, millions of American women have figured it out. I asked her if she had Googled how to dispose of bloody tampons. She said, I'm not going to Google that. I asked her if she thought about using plastic bags to wrap her tampons in or using something like that. She said again that I wouldn't understand what it's like to dispose of a bloody tampon. I agreed with her again. I said, it sounds like you are not willing to try or learn something new in order to do it differently. I told her if that was the case, then she could pay the plumber bill if I ever needed to call the plumber to come fix a clogged drain line due to a tampon. She basically gave up and said fine. As I was leaving, she said that I was being just like mom. They wanted to clarify that they're in the USA. There's a garbage can in the bathroom directly underneath the toilet paper, both in arm's reach of the toilet. No lid on the trash can. Thanks for suggesting. Not the a-hole. One should throw tampons/pads in a bin, not the toilet. Not the a-hole by all means. I have to ask, WTF is she thinking? She should be the one who is embarrassed. How does one reach the age of 19 years old, female, and not know that only shit, piss, puke, and toilet paper go down the bowl into the sewage/septic tank, nothing else? I don't use tampons, never liked it, but even as a preteen, I was told to never flush those products down the toilet. Yeah, I thought that was just a common sense thing. Like, that's what you're taught as a kid. If you enjoyed, click right here to watch another one of my Reddit videos and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on new messy Reddit threads every week. Mwah.